Okay, today we'll see that how to plot the stress strain diagram from the tensile test data. By tensile test data, we mean that the load elongation data that we get from the tensile test. So the objective of today's lecture is that from the tensile test, as you can see that this is the specimen, and in a tensile test what we give the axial load on the tensile test specimen and the load that is noted, and as well as the elongation that is also noted. So based on that load and elongation, here you can see this is the load and the elongation is in the x-axis. You will get this particular graph. Now this graph is available, and from that what we want the data points corresponding to this curve, and that we want in an Excel. And then from that Excel data, what we are going to do, we want to calculate the engineering stress strain and the true stress strain. And we know for the engineering stress, the formula is the load that is applied divided by the initial area. Initial area, basically initial diameter is noted, so you can easily find out the initial area. Similarly, the engineering strain is calculated, the elongation that is observed from the data, and the initial gauge length that is also measured initially. And the true stress strain that can be evaluated using this formula, that true stress is equal to engineering stress into 1 plus engineering strain, and true strain is equal to natural logarithm of 1 plus engineering strain. But we have to remember this formula is not valid after necking. Necking is what? You know that after reaching this maximum point at a particular location, drastically the cross-sectional area starts decreasing. So when that thing happens, you can see in the load elongation diagram also the values of load are decreasing with respect to the elongation. That means in this region, this particular formula is not applied. That we have to remember. So after that, what we are going to do, from these two data, load and elongation, we have to find out the engineering stress and engineering strain, and then true stress and the true strain, and finally we have to plot the engineering stress. Here you can see with the blue line we have shown the engineering stress strain curve, and by the orange line we have shown the true stress strain curve. And you can see the true stress strain curve has been drawn only up to the ultimate point. Okay, so this is basically what we want to do today. And we can also find out the area under this diagram. Suppose we want to find out the toughness, then toughness, we know the tensile toughness is basically up to the fracture point. What is the energy under the what is the area under the curve? That is basically the energy per unit volume that is required. Okay, so toughness here, if we find out this area, that will be expressed in joule per millimeter cube. Okay, so all these things we'll see in Excel how can we do. Okay, so let us start then. So we have the data that we have observed from the, this is the data that we have observed from the tensile test, that is the load elongation. So what we are going to do, we'll open it first. Microsoft Office, and then you can make autocorrect, then the picture will be clear. Then go to the edit picture and just crop only the graph portion. We don't require the other part, so crop only up to this part. Okay, and after that what you can do, you just simply save as into your computer. Go to save as and give some other name and save into the computer. I have already saved it, so that's why I am not doing it again. So here is that what we have already saved. Then this is the basically the image file that we are going to use to extract the data, and then we transport it to the Excel. So for that, what we are going to do is this particular app we are going to use. In my reading list, I have this app, Webplot Digitizer. So if you open this app, this is the user interface initially you will find, and there is one option you can see, load image. Okay, so just simply click on the load image, then choose the file. So this is the file, and then load, and then you see 2D XY plot. Yes, so now you have to align the axis. That means you have to give 2 coordinate points. Okay, so manually you have to give 2 coordinate points, and that you have to give only in this order. This is very, very important. See, the first you have to give the x1 coordinate, then you have to give the x2 coordinate, then you have to give the y1 coordinate, and then y2 coordinate. Okay, so these 2 coordinate that you have to give, so this one and this one. So any 2 coordinate on the graph you have to give, but you have to give the points in this order. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Let us try to understand. I'm showing it. So click on proceed. So first, let us consider we want to give this particular point. Let us consider we want to give this point. So what is the x coordinate of this point? It is clear that x coordinate is this one. And so that there is no error, you can see in the right hand box there is some zooming effect, so that you don't make any error. So carefully you just we have selected x1, but after that you have to select x2. Let us consider we select this as x2. That means we want to, suppose, let us consider we want this coordinate, okay, this point coordinate. So we select this is x2. Okay, now corresponding to x1, what is the value of y that you have to give now? So that is y1, that is the next value that you have to give. This is y1, and for x2, this is what is the value. This is basically midpoint of this one, you can see. Okay, so what are the coordinates? You just remember this coordinate. What is x1, y1? It is basically 9. You see in the x-axis it is 9, and in the y-axis it is 150. Okay, so 9, 150, that is x1, y1, and 15, and this is, what is the difference? 30, so 15, so 195. So 15, 195. Okay, so 9, 150, and 15, 195. So click on complete and give the values. So what are the values? One is x1 is 9, and what was the corresponding y value? The y value was 150. And what is the x2? X2 was 15, and corresponding y value was 195. Okay, so this is not a log scale, so you need not to do anything more. So click on OK. After that, you have to select that which color you want to see. So here you click on this color, and there you see that these are the 3 colors that is dominant color in our picture. So definitely we want the darkest one, the black one. So click on the black because our curve is basically the black one. So click on black. Okay, and then click done. And then you run. So if you click run, then it actually has been identified the different points which it find as the black. But we do not want all these points, we only want this curve. So now you go to the pen option. Here you see the pen option. So click on the pen and then you just draw the line over this curve that you want. No problem. If you suddenly by mistake, suppose it goes there, you can always erase it. Just simply in that case, you will erase. Okay. No issue. There is pen option. Okay. So after that, you run this again. And now you see this has been identified. Okay. So now you see that some of the points are basically away from the graph. So there is one option, you see the delete point. So click on delete point and just delete those points you think which are outside the curve. You can also add points. Okay. If you want, you can also add points. So once that has been done, your data is already there and you can see your data. Where from you will see the data? You go to the view data. Okay. So in the view data, you will find your data. So here you can see all the x and y axis coordinate are there up to 5 decimal point. So you just make it 3 decimal point. We do not require 5 decimal points and you make it fixed. Okay. And you sort by the x coordinates of that. Okay. So click on sort by x. So now you see these are the values. So simply what you do, you just copy all these values. Control C to copy it and go to the Excel file and there you just simply paste by this. Now you see here okay, here you see that they are comma separated. It is not that they are forming two different lines. So what you will do, just select all these values. That means select that particular column of values and then click on data. Okay, here you see the data and then here you see one option that is text to columns. Click on that, text to column, and the delimited option is checked, that you observe, and click next. And what is the delimited? Here is basically the delimiters is comma, so click on comma. So now you see when you check this comma, then this is showing that there are two different columns that will be created. So click on next and finish. So now you see that they are now in the two different columns and they are in the form of numbers. Okay. So your job is done. The first part, that you have extracted all the data in the Excel column. Now you have to observe the data if there is any problem with the data or not. Definitely these negative values are problem in the initial phase of the experiment. So we can solve this issue by considering this is the maximum negative value. What we can do, we can add this value to all of these numbers. Okay, so what we are doing is we are basically adding this plus 0.764. 0.764. So why we are adding 0.764? Because we want to make the initial value to be 0. That is what we want. That means basically we are doing a change of origin, and you do the same thing for throughout other values, or you just simply drag it. Okay, so this is the value. You just simply copy it, and what you can do, you can simply paste it there. With the values, here you see the option values. Okay, so now these are the load values, and for the elongation, again at the initial elongation it should be 0. So first value we are just making it 0. Okay, so these are the small changes that we have made, and then we will you just delete this column, that is no longer required. Okay, so now you see that in the engineering strain, you know what is the formula to calculate the engineering strain, that it is nothing but the elongation divided by the initial gauge length. Initial gauge length is there in the D8 column, D8 cell. So here you see the formula that has been used. The C12 is the value of the elongation that is divided by the D8 cell, and here you see that the dollar symbol is there in the D8 cell because that is a fixed cell. Okay, to give this dollar symbol you can press F4, or manually by typing also you can do. In that case what will happen, if you drag this particular cell downward to use this formula, then D8 is not going to change. If you do not put this dollar sign, then D8 will become D9, D10, D11, but we do not want that. We want this as the fixed value, which is the initial length that is there. So to fix a particular cell, we have used this thing in the formula. Okay, now in the engineering stress, what formula we have used? We have seen the formula. It is basically the load, that load divided by the area, initial area, and initial diameter. Here you see the initial diameter is there in the D6 cell. So you see that D6 is also a fixed cell. That is why we have used the dollar symbol. And here you see the D6 square. Okay, so because D square multiplied by pi divided by 4, that is why the 4 is in the numerator. Okay, so that load that is in the D12. So load divided by pi by 4 D square. Okay, and one extra 1000 is multiplied. Why? Because we want to express it in megapascal, because it is in kilonewton. Kilonewton means, you know, it is 10 to the power cube, and in the denominator it is millimeter square. So if you convert into meter, it will be 10 to the power minus 6. So 10 to the power minus 6, and in the numerator it is 10 to the power 3. So total 10 to the power 9. Okay, and we want to express it in megapascal, that is 10 to the power 6. So still 3 you have to multiply it. So 1 followed by 3 zeros. So 1000 has been multiplied. Now coming to the true strain. True strain, you know the formula of true strain, that is natural logarithm of 1 plus engineering strain. So that formula has been used. And the true stress is basically engineering stress multiplied by 1 plus engineering strain. So that formula used. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we just simply drag all these columns. Okay, so only thing is that for this one we can convert it into 3 decimal place. So let us write round up to 3 decimal place. So, okay. So this is our data set. Now it is ready. So now we'll plot. Okay. So to plot it, what we are going to plot, we want to plot engineering stress trend. Okay. So engineering stress trend. So that's why we'll just select the engineering stress trend data set. This part, and click on insert and click on this one. Okay. So now carefully observe that what we are doing with this graph. Okay. Let me actually okay. So see, first click on the chart, and if you click on this curve, and if you just right click on it, this is very important step. Just right click on the chart, on the curve, and then you see there is one thing, that is select data. That select data also you can see here at the top. So from anywhere you just click on select data. And now in the select data, here you see the first series. So in this series it is written that engineering stress. So just click on edit. And here you give the name of that particular series. This particular series means this particular curve, which indicates the engineering stress strain. So we are giving the name what? That is engineering stress strain curve. Okay. Then you see the series X value. So you click on here and you select the values. So these values are basically the engineering strain values. That is already selected. It is rightly selected, so no problem. Then select the Y values. It is also rightly selected. You see, yes, this is the data set we want. Yes, so you need not to change anything, and click on OK. Then what we have to add? We have to add another data set for the true stress strain. So click on add. Then give the series name. What is the name? True stress strain curve. Then click on series X value. So select the values only. Then select the Y values, that is true stress values. And click on OK. And click OK. So now your graph is ready. That is showing engineering. But we have to remember that the true stress strain diagram should be applicable up to ultimate point. So we have to see that where from the data is going down. So here you see the maximum value that it is going is 500, 500, 600, 700. Here you see 734, 36, 700, 46. I think this is the highest value, I think, is there. And after that, it is gradually going down. Okay. So actually, you have to plot up to this much. So this much is not required. So you just different colors so that, so click on it, right click, select data, go to true stress strain curve, edit, and you again select the x values and y values. Select x value, and now you see the x values will be up to this much and y values will be up to this much. Okay. Okay. So now this is the basic graph we have got. Now we have to do certain changes on it so that it looks better. So you have to add some chart elements. Okay. So how can we add the chart elements? Let me show it in a bigger way. Okay. Make it 100% first so that it's clear. Okay. So you have to add the chart elements into the chart. So for that, what you have to do, you just double click on the chart, and here you see the different chart element, or here also you can see the chart elements. So either by plus or here you can add the chart elements. So what elements we want to add? We want to add the legend. Definitely we want to add at the right. Okay, so click legend at the right, and you want to make it bigger, so just click on it and go to home, and you can use the same font, or you can change the font, say Times New Roman, and say 12, make it bold. So this is basically your legend. Next you have to add the labels. To add labels, again double click on it, add element, data labels, axis titles. So primary horizontal first, primary horizontal. So here you can write the axis title. So here it is strain. Again you can make it smaller or bigger, exactly in a similar way how we have done for the legends. Then vertical primary, to write stress. In megapascal, and you just select it, go to home, make it Times New Roman, 10 points. If it is okay, then no problem, make it bold. You can also make the color as black. Similarly here, it was, what was this one, 10. Okay, so make this one also 10, Times New Roman 10, black, bold. Okay, now next what you have to do, you can add the caption, you can add the title. Suppose you want to add the title. So axis title, chart title. So here you see the chart title above the chart. Give the title. and make it black Times New Roman and bold. Okay. And you also have to add the, that is very, very important, that is the caption of the figure. That is also very important. So for that, you have to add the text box. So just simply click on the chart first, then go to insert, and in the insert, you see the text box option. Click on that, and here you add the caption. Figure 1. Comparison of engineering and true strain of image. And again, you just make it 12. If you want to make it bold, you can do, or I don't think that bold is okay, do not require any bold. Now the important thing is that axis. So click on the vertical axis first, and in the vertical axis, in the line, you have to change the line first. You have to make it deeper. So change the color as black. Okay, and then increase the width to at least 1.5. And if you want to look like it axis, so you can make the end arrow type. So end arrow type you can make like this. Okay, and what else you can do? You can also make the tick marks. The tick marks, the major tick marks you keep inside, minor tick marks not required. I think the major tick marks is okay. So this much you can do, and again you can increase the font and you can make it deep. So go to Times New Roman, make it 10 bold. Okay, so this is basically your y-axis. Similarly, in the x-axis, you click on it first, and then go to the tick marks. There you put both major and minor. I think that is important. Both are inside. In the line, what you do, you make it black, increase the width to 1.5, and you make this as Times New Roman and make it 10 bold. I think this was also 10 bold. Okay, so this is 10 bold. What about the color? I think the color is not. Okay, I think this color you just make it black. Okay, this color you just make it black. Okay, so now I think it's okay. Only thing that you can also do the end tick mark for this one also. That means end arrow type. Just okay. So in this way you can make the graph. If you want, you can increase the line of the curve. Here it is, width is 1.5. If you want to make it say more than that, you can also do 1.75 or 2 point. Similarly, this one also you can make 2 point. So it will be brighter. If you want like that also you can do. Okay, so this is what is the graph. Now simply what you have to do, you have to click on this one and copy it by Control C, and then go to any Word file where you want to paste. Simply paste it, or you can paste it in a different way also, that is in the form of image if you want. So that also you can do. In that case, you can, but whatever be the way. The last thing that I will mention, that how can we calculate the area under the curve, and for that what you can do, we don't require this curve anymore. So you see the procedure to calculate the area. So the basic idea is that if you want to find out area, if we want to find out area under any curve, so what we are going to do, suppose we want to find out the area from this point to this point under the curve. So the technique that we are going to use, we divide the whole area into few parts, right? This is the numerical technique you already know, the numerical integration by different methods. One of them is this one. So what we are going to do, we'll consider this area. This area is not a rectangle, but we can consider this area is similar to an area of average of these two length. That means this length and this length, average of these two length is just the midpoint and this area. Okay, so this is a rectangle. So here you will get this much of extra and this much of less. So it is kind of nullify the effect. So this is what is the idea. So if this is the curve, what we are going to do, basically we will take the average of these 2 points, okay, and we will find out the area by considering that average. Okay, so what will be this area of this rectangle? That is this length multiplied by the average of these two lines, this line and this line. Okay, so this is what is the basic idea, and in this way we will just simply add all this area and we will get the area. So let's see how can we do in Excel. So engineering stress and engineering strain, these two columns are actually required. Okay, so so here we are writing the formula. So what is the formula? Formula is, we are writing this equal to, in the y-axis it is the engineering stress. So we have to find out the average of two consecutive lines. We have to find out the average of two consecutive lines. That means average of this column and this column. Okay, so this plus is divided by 2, that is average of these two columns, and then multiplied by the base. What is the base? Base is, the base is difference of these two columns. That means this minus this. Okay, so what we are actually doing, just try to understand that basically this is the curve. Let us consider this is one value, this is another value, and these value are basically the y-axis value, that means the stress. So what we have done, average of these two, average of these two length. Okay, so here you see the average of these two length that we have found out. Then with this average, what we are doing, we are multiplying by this length. What is this length? That is this strain value minus this strain value, that is basically this length. So this average multiplied by the base is basically this area. Okay, so this thing we are doing here. Okay. So this formula is clear, I think, and then we enter. And what we are going to do is just simply drag it throughout, except the last one. Last one should be negative because after that there is no column. So what we are going to get, we will find out the sum up to this much. Up to this much we will find out the sum. So your area or the toughness or area under stress strain curve is equal to, what is the area under stress strain curve? That is equal to sum of, select all the values but except the last one and give enter. So this will be the value of the toughness, because in the engineering system diagram up to the fracture point all the data has been considered. So this is the value, but what should be the unit? So the unit of this quantity, that is the toughness, will be in megapascal definitely, but if we want to express in terms of joule per millimeter cube, then joule per millimeter cube means joule per meter cube into 10 to the power 9. Okay, joule per meter cube into 10 to the power 9. So joule per meter cube is basically Pascal. So Pascal into 10 to the power 9. So megapascal is basically, so megapascal is basically Pascal into 10 to the power 6. Okay, so this much of Pascal into 10 to the power 6. So joule per millimeter cube, if you want to express, that is into 10 to the power minus 3, I think now. So that is equal to 79.1434 into 10 to the power minus 3 joule per millimeter cube. You know that toughness can also be expressed in joule only. In that case, in the load elongation diagram, you have to find out the area. But if you want to express it per millimeter cube, in that case, this will be the unit. Okay.